Rachel Rose here with Paradise London in the back of the Paradise cab, and I am here with Lynn, who's the SVP at the Drum. How are you today?
I'm good, I'm feeling great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We're here at South by Southwest.
We are.
Chilling in the back of the cab.
As you would.
Like, why would you want to be anywhere else? This is just, it just couldn't be more London, right? So I'm going to ask you a few questions today. So just ask them as spontaneously and off the cuff and creatively as you wish, okay?
Fair enough, okay, let's go.
Is there a campaign or brand that lives in your head rent-free?
Without a doubt, I know exactly what it is. Iron Brew. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever tried Iron Brew.
I have, yes.
So back in the day, Iron Brew would do the most provocative, edgy, dangerous campaigns. So things from, like, have you heard about the Fanny campaign?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So where the lady has a baby and the husband goes up to visit her and the gran, and they're like, oh, what are you going to call her? And it's like Fanny. And they're like, I mean, in Scotland that's maybe means something else. And they're like, what? And they're like, oh, well, your dad's a Fanny, you were a Fanny, your mum's a Fanny. It was just really, really funny. So they did campaigns like that, and then they done things like, this is a really bad one. It was a golf, and it says, smile golf, it will never happen. I mean, stuff was so edgy. Now I don't think you could run it.
No, you couldn't
but
get away with
back
it
in the day, and then finally they had one called Steamy Windies, and it was a boy coming in, and his mum's having it off with the dad in the living room, and they're older, and he's like, oh, it's Steamy Windies in here, and he opens a can of Iron Brew, and so, because the idea is that makes it all better, and then he draws a curtain, and it's a neighbour, the old neighbour. Anyway, I love it. So it's definitely
nice bit of scandal, nice bit of like edginess, going against the grain. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, but it was literally, you know, when I think it was a Leaf agency that done most of the work, and it was just, I mean, it won every award go, and it was just so funny. But yeah, I mean, the stuff's okay now, but it's not as edgy as it was.
Yeah, brilliant. That's a great one. I think I love it when people are unafraid to be bold, and they sort of look on the cliff edge and they're like, yeah, let's jump.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Although I'm frightened of heights, I might not jump.
Yeah. Metaphorical jump. What couldn't you live without? TikTok or ChatGPT? If you had to delete one.
Well, do you know, it's really funny because I have actually offloaded one right now to make room, and I'm afraid TikTok, you're out.
Really? Why? How come?
I just ChatGPT. I just use it all the time. I use it almost like as my confidant. You know, when you're lonely, you're like, I don't know if this is right. And it's like, I love the voice, like, chat, can you do this? Or what would you do with that? And it always keeps me right. It generally tells me when I'm being an idiot, and I quite like that. I quite need someone on my shoulder to tell me.
I had this conversation with a couple of people because I asked this question a few times yesterday, and when I was like, it's basically my therapist, they were like, and I was like, I'm not like asking it if I need to, like, you know, I don't know, make big life choices, but it's just my guide. Like, it helps, like you say, it scours the internet and gets all the best advice.
Well, exactly. Although sometimes it is wrong, so that's the only thing. And I have to go, are you sure that's right? And it's like, oh, you're correct, Lynn. I miscalculated that. And you're like, oh my god, I better not use it verbatim. So
yeah, I think knowing what to take is literal, and
very much so. But yeah, no, chat is like my friends now, so it's on there.
Brilliant. What's something no one tells you about working in your industry?
That you don't need a degree.
Oh, interesting.
So for me, I'm a working class person, born and bred. I do the podcast Working Class to World Class, so check it out. And yeah, I think years ago I used to think you had to be like the smartest person. I didn't even know this industry existed. So for me it was like, oh, you probably have to have degrees, or you have to have all the connections, or you have to have this. You don't. You have to have common sense. You have to be human. You have to be, I think, a good person. There's some not good players, but most people in this industry, I would say 95% of people are just the nicest people ever. So yeah, you don't need a degree, and it's very accessible to others. And I think for us, it's about how do we inspire people to come through. So yeah, for me, you do not need that degree.
I think that's brilliant, because I think there's too much pressure, and especially, you know, some people don't want to struggle with the types of learning that are still around. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. Like, if I do it, I can do it. But if I have to listen and be talked at for hours, I cannot retain information. So I felt like I wasn't a smart person because I couldn't learn the way that they were teaching. But it was nothing to do with that. So I think sometimes, like you say, it's about common sense, it's about being personable, and it's about being passionate at what you do. So I think that's a really good piece of advice that people should hold on to. How would you describe your job to an alien?
Oh my god, one alien talking to another. How would I do it? I would say my job is to make people feel good about themselves. Now you could take that in so many different connotations. So for me, I'm about helping marketers make better decisions because they can see great content, brilliant advertising. So for me, I run the awards at the Drum and I run the marketing. So it's all about, and I'm pretending you're the alien now. So
yes, talk to me like an alien.
So alien. So for me, my job is to celebrate successes with people. It's to help people make better decisions, and I do that through content, through awards, through conferences, and it's about helping to inspire others. And then the alien would go, what did you just say? I don't understand any of that.
Yeah. So what's an award? No, I'm joking, you don't have to go into that. No, that was good, because I think that, you know, it helps you to have your elevator pitch, and then for somebody who maybe doesn't understand, you can break it down to them to make it make sense.
Exactly, but now I need to work on it because that wasn't very good. So now I was on the spot. So yeah, I'm going to give that some thought.
Yeah, I had to do it recently, and I think I waffled for about 10 minutes. I was like, there was nothing elevator pitch about that at all. Do you think that AI could replace your role?
Ooh. No, I don't think it could. I don't think it could replace it, but it's definitely helped me do it better. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of my job is about relationships, and AI is never going to do that. It will do relationships for people that want to be lazy and not meet in real life, but for me it's all about the connections. It's about looking people in the eye, having the conversation, sharing the stories. So it will help me do my job, and it will cut out a lot of the faff and the admin, but I don't think it will ever replace human connection.
I agree. I think after 2020 we tried to not be around people, we tried to do everything online, and it didn't work. And now everybody is coming back together because we realised it doesn't work. We need this. We are social beings, and we need human to human. Customers or followers?
Customers.
Why?
Because that has the value. I think followers could be a vanity metric. So unless you're going to do anything with the followers and convert them to customers, and also retention is really important. I think that's the big thing. You know, people talk about, oh, new business, and we'll get this and we'll get that. Well, what about the people you've got? How are you going to nurture them? Because customers will breed customers, whether it be through word of mouth, through doing a good job, through testimonials. So I think it's just, especially in marketing, you know, when my team will do things, but we will look very carefully at, you know, we've got so many leads in, yeah, but how many of them were genuine leads versus, you know, just somebody's intrigued or interested, which is never a bad thing. But if I had to choose between the two, absolutely customers.
That's really interesting. I like that question. Okay, one more. I know you didn't choose this one, so I'm just going to pick a random one. What's your marketing red flag?
A brand that's trying to be something that's not.
Oh, that's the second time I've had that as an answer.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and we didn't even compare it. Even
no,
who that person
don't even
is.
know who that person is.
So I would say that, yeah, a brand that's, and also trying to jump in trends just because they should. You know, someone that's using AI because everybody's using AI, or someone that gets an influencer that's so far removed from the campaign or what they believe, or yeah. So I think just stop being fake and just be you, but be a bit more brighter and less dull.
Yeah, I feel the narrative across the board is actually like people are seeking more authenticity more than ever now.
Yeah.
So connection and authenticity, it seems to be, because we might not always be very bright as a human race, and we may not always have common sense, but we do trust authenticity and we feel it in our bones. So I think it's really becoming much more of a thing that people are thinking, actually we'd rather have a smaller influencer but genuinely believes in something than have like the biggest influencer who's doing it for the paycheck.
100%. Micro influencers are powerful. You know, again, it goes back to the customer thing. You don't need to tell the world, although I do think there is a place for mass marketing, I have to say.
Of course.
However, I think that, you know, we just need to be careful, not get carried away. And also budgets are tight, right? And, you know, I think, you know, as you say, people don't want to be spoken to anymore. We're in a world and a culture where people just want to feel they belong or they can relate. And so yeah, so that's, I mean, I think it's really exciting actually.
I do too. I feel like there's a turning in the water that feels like, you know, it's all the tide's changing. I know I said last question, but because you've just said that, I think I know what your answer is going to be. But there's another question in here, which is one video that goes viral or 10 videos that hit 20,000 views.
It depends what you classify as viral. What is viral?
Like millions and millions.
Okay. So, and this is for a brand.
Like in the context of you, for example, it would mean different. Maybe
Okay, so if I was doing that, it's interesting because when I look at my podcast, for example, I've got some episodes that have got like 100,000, and I've got some that have got like 200. So, oh my goodness, this is the hardest question of all the questions. I would say I probably want consistency, because I think if you have a one-hit wonder, then unless you're going to, so the caveat is if you've got the one viral, you have to do something with it. But if you weren't going to do anything with it, then I would want the constant hit. So I would say multiples of higher views.
Brilliant. Lynn, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me in the cab.
It's
Some
been a
great
pleasure.
stuff there. I mean, I'm learning while I'm doing these conversations, which I'm like, make a mental note. So yeah, it's been wonderful to talk to you.
You too.
Enjoy the rest of South by Southwest, and we will see you soon.
Thank you very much.